Hey mathematics learners, welcome to Distance Learning, where I make learning mathematics super easy. On today's video tutorial, guys, we are going to be tackling question 2 from the grade 12 mathematical literacy paper 2 that was written in September 2022 by the Gauteng province learners, right? In this video tutorial, guys, we are going to be tackling question 2.1, which deals with probability, and we are gonna also be looking at question 2.2, right? And question 2.2 deals with maps, all right? So we're gonna be using a map that is given to us in annexure A, and we're going to be using this map to help us answer the questions that are given to us. Before we get started with today's video tutorial, guys, please make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. Please make sure that you click on that notification bell so that you get notified every single time I upload a video tutorial, guys. And also don't forget to give this video tutorial a huge thumbs up. Also, guys, there is a membership option. So if you want to join the Maths Gang fam, where I prioritize your the comments or the questions that you have, and you also get early access to the video tutorials that are uploaded in the channel, guys, please also join our Maths Gang family. Also, I've got a member shout out, right? Shout out to Kai Dai, right? That is the first member that I have on my channel. I really appreciate the fact that you've basically decided to join the family, right? And thank you so much for the support. So without any further ado, guys, let's get started with today's video tutorial. Right, so in today's video tutorial, guys, we are going to be looking at question 2.1. And like I mentioned, question 2.1 basically tests to see whether we understand everything that we have learned when it comes to probability. So let us have a look at the question and the information that is given to us here. Question 2.1. The Royal Mail ship St. Helena was a unique cargo passenger ship built in 1989, specifically to supply the island of St. Helena, a British overseas territory in the tropical South Atlantic Ocean. The Royal Mail ship St. Helena can accommodate 156 passengers and 56 crew members. Okay, we need to study the information and the map above and answer the questions that follow. Okay, so question 2.1.1. Determine the probability that if a person could be picked at random from the ship, it would be a crew member, and give the answer as a percentage. Okay, so what is the probability, right, that a random person from the ship that is picked out be a crew member, right? Guys, remember when we calculate probability, right, the formula that we use for probability is that probability is equal to your favorable outcomes. What do you want? Okay, what are the favorable outcomes? Okay, and divided by your total outcome. Okay, always start off with that formula, right? And then let's have a look at the information that is given to us, right? We want to determine the probability that if a person is picked at random, it would be a crew member, right? So the favorable outcomes is the crew members. Okay, so how many crew members were on the ship? So it's 56 crew members are on the ship divided by, okay, and what are our total outcomes, right? So how many people in total were on the Royal Mail ship, or how many people in total can the Royal Mail ship accommodate? Okay, so the Royal Mail ship can accommodate 156 passengers plus 56 crew members. So in total, the ship can accommodate 212 people. And then The question also says that we need to give the answer that we basically obtain, right, as a percentage. So we basically need to now multiply this answer by 100 because it wants the answer as a percentage. Okay, so if you punch that into your calculator, you will get 26.415%, right? If we round this off to just 2 decimal places, that is approximately 26.42%. So the probability that if a person could be picked at random from the ship, that it would be a crew member would be 26.42%. All right, let's go on to the next question. Question 2.1.1. The passengers on the Royal Mail ship St. Helena are of the following nationalities, right? The passengers that are South African, right? We've got a total of 48 passengers, right? 35 of those are male and 13 of those are female, okay? Then we've got Russians. Total number of passengers that are Russians are 12. 8 are male, 4 are female. Then Americans, we've got 56 passengers that are Americans. 23 are male, 33 are female. Okay, we've got 23 passengers that are German, 10 are male, and 13 are female. Okay, so let's have a look at the question. It says determine the probability that if a passenger is selected and at random, the passenger will be a Russian male passenger or a South African female passenger. Okay, so we want to basically determine what would the probability be if a passenger is selected at random, right? And then that passenger is a Russian male passenger or a South African female passenger, right? So I'm going to write that as that, right? The probability of the Russian male, RM stands for Russian male, SAF stands for South African female. How will we then obtain this probability? Okay, we're going to calculate the probability that the passenger is a Russian and a male, and then we're going to plus the probability that the passenger is a South African female. Okay, right. Please note here, okay, there is no intersection between the two, right? So there is no intersection where the passenger is either a Russian male and South African female at the same time. So we don't have an intersection between those two, right? So in this case, to just get the probability that that passenger is either a Russian male passenger or a South African female passenger, we need to basically add the probability of that person being a Russian male to the probability of that passenger being a South African female. So this is the formula that we're going to use to basically determine that probability. Okay, so let me write that down. So what is the probability that the passenger is a Russian and male, right? So we have a look at the information that is given to us, right? For the Russian male, it'll be 8 divided by, remember, favorable outcomes divided by a total outcomes. The probability that it's a Russian male, right? So Russian male is 8 divided by a total outcomes. How many passengers do we have in this ship? So you're going to take 48 plus 12 plus 56 plus 23. Okay, so I'm going to actually show that there, okay, because remember I mentioned that with Mathslit you need to basically show every single calculation so that you do not miss out on any marks, right? So in this case, the total passengers will be equal to 48 plus 12 plus 56 plus 23. Okay, so we've basically added up all these values that are given to us here that give us the total number of your passengers. Okay, and then you'll find that the total number of passengers is equal to 139 passengers. Okay, then to get the probability that a passenger that is selected at random is either a Russian male or a South African female, you're going to basically add the probability that it's a Russian male plus the probability that the passenger is a South African female. Okay, right. Then, what is the probability that it's a Russian male? So, our favorable outcomes is 8. If you have a look at the table here, the Russian male is 8. Divided by what are the total outcomes? How many passengers? 139. Plus, right? Probability that it's a South African female, right? So we have a look at South African female, it's 13 divided by, right, your favorable or your total outcomes. So it's 139. Okay. So if you punch that into your calculator, you will get an answer of 21 divided by 139. Okay, so the probability that if a passenger is selected at random, that passenger is either a Russian male or a South African female would be 21 over 139. Okay, so that is it for question 2.1. And how would this question be marked, right? So you'll get 1 mark for obviously in question 2.1.1 showing the total number of passengers, which is 212 people. You'll get another mark for taking that 56 divided by 212 multiplied by 100. Okay, and you'll get a final mark for the final answer of 26.42%. So that question is out of 3. For question 2.1.2, you'll get also 1 mark for showing the total number of passengers, which is 139. Okay, you get 1 mark for saying 8 over 131 for the probability that the passenger is a Russian male. Another mark for saying that the probability that it's a South African female is 13 over 139. And your final mark for your final answer of 21 divided by 139. So that is out of 4 marks. So the total for this question, question 2.1, is out of 7, and that is basically how your marks will be allocated. All right, let us now have a look at question 2.2. So question 2.2 basically deals with maps, right? We're going to be using a map to help us basically answer the questions that are given to us. We're going to be using the map that is given in Annexure A, all right? So we're going to be using this map. For this question, guys, please note that since I am actually using an electronic copy, right, my answers are not going to be accurate. If you basically use the method to help you answer your question, you should be fine. Okay, so if you're able to follow with what I'm doing, even though I'm using an electronic copy, you should be okay. But please note, when obviously I'm getting my answers are going to be off because I am using an electronic copy. Okay, but I will share with you what the actual values are supposed to be when I obviously give you the answers. Okay, so let's have a look at question number 2.2. Right. Question number 2.2 says that the Royal Mail ship St. Helena departs from Cape Town to St. Helena. Study the map of St. Helena in Annexure A and answer the questions that follow. Okay, so we need to basically use this map that is given to us of St. Helena, and we need to basically answer questions that are given to us. Okay, so question 2.2.1. Where is the harbor on St. Helena likely to be situated? So I'm going to actually put a picture of what a harbor looks like, right? And a harbor, right, guys, is a place on the coast where you will normally find your ships chilling there, right? Okay, for lack of a better word, I'm just going to use chilling, right? And usually in the harbor, that water is very calm. It's not rough water. Okay, so now looking at the map of St. Helena that is given to us, where do you think the harbor is? Or where do you think it would be likely situated? Okay, so when you basically look at the map of St. Helena here, right? If you basically go and you basically look here, right, you will see that actually, right, The harbor is probably by Jamestown, okay? Because we can see that now that city is situated towards the coast, okay? So that would be the best bet where the harbor would be. Okay, so let's basically write that down. Okay, so the harbor is most likely situated at Jamestown. Let's have a look at the next question. Question 2.2.2. Choose the correct letter that will make the following statement true. Okay. The town of Levelwood lies. Does the town of Levelwood lie south of Longwood? Does it lie west of Blue Hill? Or does it lie southwest of Jamestown? Okay, so the first thing we need to basically establish is that where is the town of Levelwood? Okay, so let's just have a look at our map. That is the town of Levelwood. Okay, and then I'm basically going to highlight all the towns that were actually given to us, right? They asked us, does it lie south of Longwood? So I'm just going to highlight Longwood, okay, right? Does it lie west of Blue Hill? I'm just going to highlight Blue Hill, right? I've highlighted Blue Hill. Or does it lie south of Jamestown? I'm also going to highlight Jamestown, okay? And then I'm basically going to check using the compass that is given to us here, right? Which statement is true, okay? So the compass that is given to us here basically shows us that our north, okay, is that way, right? So this is our north, right? And if this is our north, that means that, okay, that is our south. Naughty elephant sprays water. Okay, so that is basically the direction. Okay, so if you basically look at the general direction if you basically look at how I've basically connected the line from Jamestown to Longwood, right, we can see that Longwood is actually situated southeast. Do you see that that is in the southeast direction? Longwood is actually situated southeast from Jamestown, right? So let's have a look and see if we were given that option there. Okay, we can see that it's actually here, the option that is given to us, they said southwest. So from that, we can definitely see that this is definitely not a true statement. Okay, let's have a look at the where Levelwood lies from Blue Hills. Let's have a look at that one. So if we had to draw a line from Blue Hill to Levelwood, okay, what do we notice, right? We actually notice that Levelwood, right, is actually situated towards the northeast of Blue Hills. Do you see that? Okay, northeast. Do you see how the line is drawn there? So that line looks like it's towards the northeast direction. Okay, so let's see if we're given the northeast direction as an option here. That is incorrect, okay? Because here they said the west of Blue Hills. So that's definitely not our answer, right? So using the process of elimination, we can already see that actually the answer that we're supposed to get is A. So we can actually even still check to see if that answer is correct, okay? Let's see where the town Levelwood lies from Longwood. From this, we can actually see that, okay, Levelwood lies south of Longwood. Okay, so the correct answer then for this question is A. Okay, let us go on to the next question. Question 2.2.3. What type of scale is shown in annexure A, right? So when we basically have a look at annexure A, right, what do we see? Okay, when it comes to the scales the scale that is actually given to us here, right? So we can see at the bottom we are given a scale. Okay, this scale basically tells us that, so if you were to basically measure this distance from here to here and you got that to be maybe 4 centimeters, right? That basically tells you that 4 centimeters on this page would mean 5 miles in real life. Okay, so when you basically look at this scale, what type of a scale is it, right? We basically learned about 3 different types of scales in your mathematical literacy. You learned about a bar scale, you learned about your number scale when you're given 1 is to maybe, for example, 5 million, right? That was your number scale. You're also given like a verbal scale where you will just be given something like 1 centimeter to 50,000 meters, where it would be written verbally, right? And you'd also be given like a bar scale, something that looks similar to this, right? Where you'd have like maybe 1, 0, 1, and 2. That would be a bar scale, right? So those are the different types of scales that you've basically learned about. Okay, so the answer that would be accepted here is, you could just say it's a bar scale, that would be accepted, or you can even just say here it's not really a bar, right, but it's a line scale. Okay, so in this case, whether you said bar scale or a line scale, that would be accepted. But I'm gonna say a line scale because this is not a bar, guys. It's a line scale. Okay, so I'm gonna basically write that down. Question 2.2.3. Okay, the scale here is a line scale. Okay, however, bar scale will also be accepted. So even if you said bar scale, that would also be accepted. Okay, let us have a look at question 2.2.4. Use the scale on the map to determine the distance as a crow flies from Longwood to St. Paul's, the town, and give the answer in kilometers, right? So if you were to basically look at this map here, right, and a bird were to fly from Longwood to St. Paul's, what would that actual distance be? Okay, so guys, please pay attention to the method or how you're supposed to get the answer for this question. I'm going to show you the method by using obviously this electronic copy, right? And I'm going to give you the actual answers that you're supposed to have if you've basically printed out this question paper and you're actually doing it physically. Okay, so let me show you how you go about answering this question. So the first thing you're going to do, right, to get what that distance is, because they want the actual distance from St. Paul's to Longwood. Okay, so for us to get that distance, the first thing we need to do, we need to measure this this line scale. Okay, we need to measure it. Okay, so if you measure this line scale using your ruler and using the unit of measurement centimeters, you'll get that you'll actually get the measured distance of 4.567. I'm getting 4.7. Okay, so I'm gonna stick to what I'm getting to show you how you're supposed to go about answering this question. So what does that mean? It basically means that 4.7 centimeters on the page is equal to 5 miles in real life. Okay, so I'm basically going to use this, right, to help me now get the actual distance from St. Paul's to Longwood. Okay, I'm going to keep my answer like this because I'm showing you guys how you're supposed to work out your answer. Okay, so don't panic. I'm just showing you how you're supposed to solve this. This basically means, remember, I showed you that 4.7 is equal to 5 miles. Okay, right? And then we are basically now going to measure the distance using your ruler from St. Paul's to Longwood. Okay, I'm going to still use my electronic ruler. Okay, I'm going to measure that distance, okay, from St. Paul's to Longwood. Okay, I'm going to put the ruler there and there. I'm going to try to be accurate with how I place my ruler. Okay, so I'm going to say that the distance from St. Paul's to Longwood is 4.123. I'm going to say 4.3 centimeters based on what my ruler is telling me. Okay, so that is like 4.3 centimeters, right? That is the distance on the page. So now we need to convert this distance, okay, on the page to the actual distance in real life. Okay, we got the measured distance as 4.3 centimeters. Okay, and now we want to convert this measured distance, right, that is on the page into the actual distance using this conversion, okay, that we found, meaning that 4.3 centimeters, you're gonna multiply. What do you want? We want the actual distance in miles, né? So we're gonna multiply it by 5 miles because we want the units in miles, and we divide it by what you have, right? So what do we have? We already have our distance in centimeters, so it's 4.7 centimeters. Okay, so what happens here, right? At this point, guys, you should know what is happening. If you take 4.3 and you multiply it by 5, you divide by 4.7, you will get that the actual distance, right, from St. Paul's to Longwood is 4.57446808 miles, okay? Because the units for centimeters and centimeters cancel, and you'll be left with the units in miles. Okay, so that is the distance, right? However, the question is asking me to basically give the answer in kilometers, and we are told that 1 mile is equal to 1.60934 kilometers. So we still need to convert these units in miles, right, to kilometers. And we are told that 1 mile is equal to 1.60934 kilometers. So we're going to use this conversion to help us now convert our miles into kilometers, because we're not living in America, guys. We want our units to be in kilometers, right? Because in South Africa, we use the metric system. Okay. Remember, guys, I'm going to round off the final answer for accuracy, because in this question, they didn't say that we need to basically round off each answer to 2 decimal places. So I'm only going to round off my final answer. Okay. So in this case, I'm going to take that 4.5744680805 miles, and I want to convert that to kilometers. So I'm going to multiply by, what do I want? I want the units in kilometers. So I'm going to multiply it by that 1.60934 kilometers. Then you divide by what you have. We already have our units in miles. Okay, so I'm going to divide that by 1 mile. Okay, then what do we see now, right? The units for miles cancel. You see that the miles and the mile cancel, and you will be left in the units in kilometers. So if you take that 4.5744680805 and you multiply it with 1.60934 divided by 1, so it's just multiplying it by 1.60934, you will get that the actual distance from St. Paul's to Longwood is actually 3.361874486 kilometers, which is approximately 7.36 kilometers. Okay. And that is basically it. Okay. So how would they basically mark this question, right? I'm going to give you quickly the answers, or that you should get if you actually printed the worksheet and you have the hard copy. So these are the answers that you're supposed to have. When you actually measured the distance from there to there, you were supposed to get like 3.2 centimeters if you have the hard copy. Okay, so we're supposed to get 3.2 centimeters. So in this case, you were supposed to write 3.2 centimeters is equal to 5 miles. Okay, and then if you have the hard copy, right, when you basically measure the distance from St. Paul's to Longwood, okay, using your hard copy, you were actually supposed to get 2.8 centimeters approximately. Okay, so your measured distance was supposed to be 2.8 centimeters, right? And then from here, you still do the same thing. You will just take the 2.8 centimeters multiplied by what you want. We're still going to use this conversion here to help you convert from centimeters to your miles. So you're going to multiply by what you want, which is 5 miles, and you're going to divide by what you have, which is 3.2 centimeters, right? You're actually going to get 4.37 miles. Okay, and then from there, you will want to now convert these miles into kilometers, right? Using the given conversion of 1 mile is equal to 1.60934 kilometers. So you're going to just take that 4.375 miles, multiply by what you want, 60934 kilometers, and divide it by what you have, which is your units in miles, right? So you would get that your actual kilometers from St. Paul's to Longwood as 7.04 kilometers. Okay, so these are the actual values that you're supposed to get if you were basically using a hard copy. But because I was using an electronic copy, my values are off. Okay, but if you followed with me on how I basically do or convert from the measured distance on your page to an actual distance in real life, you should be okay. All right, let's look at question 2.2.5. Give one reason why certain towns on the map are indicated with larger dots than other towns on the map. So when you basically have a look at this map, right, that is given to us here, certain towns are indicated with a larger dot, and some towns are indicated with like a smaller dot. Okay, what could be the reason for that? Okay, for example, if you have a look here, Jamestown is indicated with a larger dot, but your Levelwood has a smaller dot. What could be the reason for that? Okay, some people would say, oh, maybe it's a bigger town, right? Some people would say maybe the town has a greater population. Okay, so then the bigger dot shows that that town has a greater population. So we're going to write that down. Question 2.2.6. Use a ruler to measure the approximate length as a crow flies off St. Helena from the most southwesterly end to the most northeasterly part of the island. Give the answer in centimeters, right? So they say if a crow flies from the most southwesterly end to the most northeasterly part of the island, what would that distance be? Okay, so where is the southwesterly, right, and the northeasterly? Okay, so we want to basically get the direction if a crow were to fly from that direction to that direction, but that direction needs to be the most, it needs to literally be parallel to what I've drawn here, this line that I've drawn here. Okay, so let's check if it is parallel. That is the point that is at the northwest. Do you see that? That is the point that is at the most, no, I mean, that is the point that is at the most southwesterly, right? And that is the point that is at the most northeasterly, right? So if you basically check that this is actually parallel, okay, so all we need to do now, you need to basically measure the distance from there to there using your ruler. What is that distance in centimeters? What is that measured distance? Okay, and if you basically look at my ruler or my PDF electronic copy, it gives me a distance of, it's like 14.9 centimeters. That is what I am getting with my electronic copy, right? So basically, if I had to basically write down this distance that I got from my electronic copy, I would say I got 14.9 centimeters, right? However, if you've got the hard copy and you measure the distance, you should get a value between 11 centimeters to 13 centimeters. Okay, so you should either maybe get 11 or 12 or 13 centimeters when you measure that distance using your hard copy. Okay, because they said give the answer in centimeters. So we don't have to actually convert the measured distance into the actual distance. Okay, we just had to now measure with our ruler and just write down what was that distance in centimeters. And we are done. Question 2.2.7. Okay, it says that the maximum breadth of the island is approximately 10 kilometers. Okay, use the scale of the map together with the answer that you've obtained in question 2.2 to determine the estimated area of the entire island. Okay, so from question 2.2.6, right, we already obtained what the length of this island is, approximately the length of this island, right? And from my electronic copy, I found that the length was like 14.9. Okay, so if that is our length, what is the breadth? Okay, we are told actually that the breadth of the island is approximately 10 kilometers. So we are given that the breadth is 10 kilometers, right? So we need to now use this information, right, to determine the area of the entire island. Okay, so if we're basically going to just assume that this island is a rectangular shape, how would we calculate the area of this island? Okay, to get the area of this island, we would just say length multiplied by your breadth, right? And then remember, okay, I'm just going to use the values that I'm getting from my electronic copy, right? Remember that we found that the length, we are given that the breadth is equal to 10 kilometers, right? So the breadth is in kilometers, right? However, what was the length that we've obtained? We found that the length is equal to, I'm going to use my length of 14.9 centimeters. Okay, so now what must we do before we can even calculate the area, right? We need to first now convert, okay, this length of 14.9 centimeters, right, using the conversions that were given to us, okay, 2 kilometers, and from there we will be able to now just multiply the 10 kilometer whatever kilometer we would basically obtain. Okay, so we already know if I got 14.9 centimeters in question 2.2.6, right, we already know that. Okay, from the top I said that 4.7 centimeters is equal to 5 miles. Okay, actually let me just use the units that you guys are supposed to get. But I think from now, at this point, okay, I'll do both, okay? So 14.9 centimeters, I'm going to multiply it by the conversions that we basically used here. I said that 4.7 centimeters is equal to 5 miles, okay, remember? Okay, and then we also, so we're going to basically first convert this 14.9 centimeters into miles. So it's 14.9 centimeters multiplied by what you want. You want your units in miles. Okay, divided by what you have, which is units in centimeters, right? Okay, then if you punch that into your calculator, what do you get? You'll get that it is going to be 15.85106,383 miles. Okay, all right. However, we still need to convert these miles into kilometers. And remember, we were told that 1 mile is equal to 1.60934 kilometers. Okay, so we're going to basically use this to help us convert these miles into kilometers. So you multiply by what you want, which is your units in kilometers, and you divide it by what you have, which are your units in miles. Okay, the units for miles and miles cancel, and you'll get that your final answer is equal to 25.50975,106 kilometers, which is approximately 25.51 kilometers. All right, so we've basically now converted the length, right, into kilometers, right? So the length now, right, is equal to 25.51 kilometers, right? So now we can go on and basically calculate the area of St. Helena, right? And the area is equal to length multiplied by your breadth. What is your length? We found that our length was 25.51 kilometers. Multiply, what is your breadth? It is 10 kilometers. Therefore, the area is equal to 255.097516, which is approximately equal to 255.10 kilometers squared. Okay, right? I'm just gonna quickly play the video, right, without me talking and showing you guys what are the answers that you're supposed to get if you basically use the hard copy. Okay, so I'm just gonna play the video, right, and just show you what the answers are supposed to be if you actually use the hard copy. Right. So if you've basically used your hard copy, that is approximately the area that you're supposed to have, right? 276.61 kilometers squared, right? So this video tutorial is actually going to be a bit long because I'm accommodating the fact that I'm using an electronic copy and also accommodating learners that are actually want to check to see if their answers are correct, okay, with the hard copy that they have. But now I'm going to use this answer for me to answer the next question. Okay, so let's have a look at the next question. Question 2.2.8. Population density is the number of people found living in each square kilometer of an area. According to the last census in 2016, there were 4,534 people living in St. Helena. Okay, use the answer to question 2.2.7 to determine the population density of St. Helena. Okay, so how do you determine population density? Okay, so population density is equal to the number of people that lived in St. Helena divided by the land area. Okay. So what were the number of people that was basically living in St. Helena in 2016? We were told that it was 4,534 people divided by what is the total area that we calculated. I'm going to use this value here. So we found that the total area was 276.61 kilometers squared, right? Therefore, what is the population density? So you've got 16.39190,166 people per kilometers squared. Okay, that's the number of people. Okay. However, guys, you can't have 16.39 people. You cannot. Okay. So I'll just say the answer in the memo is just 16.39 people per kilometer squared. However, you can't have 16.39 people. So that's like 16 people, okay, per kilometers squared. Okay, that's my answer, but your memo just stops at 16.39 people. Okay, and let us have a look at the last question. If you had the opportunity to start a business at St. Helena, what type of business would you start? Okay, so I love these questions. They're just giving you free marks. Okay, so in this case, what do we notice about the place St. Helena? St. Helena is a place that is close to the sea, right? So if you had to like start a business, what kind of business would it be? Okay, I would personally start a business where I'm selling seafood. Okay, because that would mean that it'll be easy for me to catch the fish, to catch the prawns, to catch whatever sea life is found in the ocean that I can sell. for people to eat, I can catch it there and just create a business for myself. Okay, so for me, I would basically start a seafood. Okay, so that is it for this long question. We're done with question 2, right? In the next video tutorial, guys, we are going to be looking at question 3. And with question 3, we're going to be dealing with measurement in particular. We're going to be calculating or explaining what is the circumference. We're going to be dealing with volume. And we are also going to be dealing with temperature. Okay. So with this question, guys, this is a very important question that we've now moved from level 1 questions to like level 3 questions in mathematical literacy. Okay, so if you know that you're currently struggling with converting your temperature, if you're struggling with volume, or just analyzing these type of questions, these application questions, please make sure that you are subscribed to the channel, and also please make sure that you click on the notification bell. So this question is going to be uploaded the following day, right? So please make sure that you've clicked on that notification bell, right? And quickly, how would they mark the whole of question 2? Let's just quickly go through that. Right, question 2.2.1, you will get 2 marks for saying Jamestown. Question 2.2.2, you get 2 marks for saying, giving your answer of A. Question 2.2.3, you get 2 marks for saying this is actually a line scale or a bar scale, right? Question 2.2.4, okay, you'll get 1 mark. I'm going to actually just show you how it would be marked with the actual values that you would have obtained if you were using the hard copy. Okay, you will get just 1 mark for your measured distance of 2.8 centimeters. Okay, you will get 1 mark for taking the 2.8 and you multiply it by 5 and you divide it by 3.2. You'll get another mark for now converting these miles into kilometers or showing how you convert them into kilometers, and your final mark for 7.04 kilometers. So this question is out of 4. Okay, question 2.2.5, right? You'll get just 2 marks for saying that the larger circles basically means a greater population. Question 2.2.6, you will just get 2 marks, right, for saying 11 centimeters or 12 centimeters or 13 centimeters. Okay, so that is out of 2 marks. Okay, question 2.2.7, right? I'm going to show you with the actual values that you're supposed to get using a hard copy. Okay, you'll get 1 mark for converting the 11 centimeters into miles. Okay, how you convert that. Okay, you get another mark for converting your miles into kilometers. You get another mark for calculating the area. Okay, that it's 10 kilometers multiplied by the 27.66, right? Get 1 mark for that. And the final mark for your final answer of your area of 276.61 kilometers squared. Question 2.2.8, okay, you'll get 1 mark for taking that 4,534 people and dividing it by the 276.61 square kilometers, right? And you'll get a final mark for saying 16.39 people per kilometer squared. Okay, and the last one, question 2.2.9, you'll just get 2 marks for just giving any reasonable business idea that you can start if you were staying on St. Helena. All right, so that is it for question 2.2, right? I hope you guys enjoyed this video tutorial, and I hope that you also see how the marks are allocated. Okay, so that is it for today's video tutorial, guys. Please don't forget, if you really appreciate the content, please consider joining the Maths Gang fam, right, to get individual attention and to also just get early access to video tutorials that I upload, right? And I'll see you guys on my next video tutorial. That is it, guys, and I'll see you guys on my next upload, Distance Learning with Lee, where I make learning mathematics super easy. Bye, guys.